All right.
Thank the Lord. Seems really hard.
So, I'm going all over the place. Finishing chapter 5, examples. Or, well, I guess starting examples, but finishing chapter 5, sort of, kind of. All right, so I would recommend opening your book, okay, starting on page 95, just because there's going to be pictures that without a lot of effort, I'm not going to be able to just, like, throw under here.
Where did Homeboy go?
He left. Take the test.
Oh. See, there's two different ones.
Wait, you said 9.
Page 95.
Oh, 95?
All right, so I'm going to start with number 6. To help travelers know what to expect, researchers collected the prices of commodities in 16 cities throughout the world. Here are box plots comparing the prices of a ride on public transportation, a newspaper, and public coffee, a cup of coffee in the 16 cities. And so you can see they have the box plots listed there. Remember, starting at the bottom is your min when it's going up and down. Okay, then you hit your Q1, then your median, then your Q3, and then finally all the way at the top, your max value. All right, so part A says, on average, which commodity is the most expensive? So looking at that, what?
Coffee?
Coffee?
Most definitely.
All right. Is a newspaper always more expensive than a ride on public transportation?
No.
Why not?
Because the little boxy thing you tell
Because the outlier is 2.0.
No, because of the minimum is like lower than the public transportation's maximum. In other words, like the newspaper could be like at its minimum and the public transportation could be at its maximum, and then that would make it not work.
Right. I'm not writing the explain part. That's why we're just talking about it. Does the presence of outliers affect your conclusion?
No, because they're all kind of they're all kind of like the same thing. I do the same thing. They all go up like that. So.
Well, and all the outliers are the same distance, approximately the same distance above, right? So that also.
Is this what this is like? Like this doesn't seem awful.
This section's not too bad in my opinion.
Like last section, I was like, oh, take me. Take me now. Like Raptor.
Sorry, it can't happen till after Saturday.
Exactly. That's good.
Or after Friday.
Saturday. We're just going with after Saturday, because then that accounts for everything that needs to happen this week.
Don't be selfish. Let her get her wedding, please.
Well, then we might as well wait till after everyone's back. So when are you coming back?
I'll be back on the 12th.
Okay, so the 14th.
Where's the 14?
Because we need a day to celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, we have to celebrate her wedding and your Saturday.
All right, number 12. Shown below are the histogram and summary statistics. I have a really hard time saying that word. I don't know if y'all can tell. For the number of campsites at public parks in Vermont. Okay, so it has your histogram there. Notice there are gaps in it. And then we've got our count. Okay, so that's the count is the total number of parks that they're looking at. Yeah, anyways.
Aren't you gonna do? Okay, never mind.
And then they've got your mean, median, standard deviation, min, max, Q1, and Q3. It's not in order, so just make sure you keep up with that if you are needing it.
What's the difference between the mean and the median?
The mean is the average. The median is the middle.
So
Oh my gosh. Forget I asked that, please.
it's wouldn't you use median and IQR?
Okay, so which statistics would you use to identify the center and spread of this distribution and why? So you say median and IQR. Why do you say that?
I say it's because it's skewed.
Yep, median and IQR because it's skewed.
Oh.
That is so cool.
everybody in here has taken it, right?
Yeah.
So can I just say, the one on the test though, it was like, it used the mean and standard deviation, and then you had to use the IQR and median though, because it was skewed, right?
I have no idea. I haven't made the key yet. Well, actually, okay, that's all. I have the key, but I haven't redone the key. So. Let's see. How many parks would you classify as outliers?
All of them, everybody likes parks.
1, 2, wait, I can't, what? A lot?
Then we have to find the
How is
thingy.
this again?
We have to find the fences.
Bingo. We don't know just by looking. Can't just
Oh,
guess.
you have to do the stupid subtraction thing we're allowed?
Okay, we're going to be using Q1 minus 1.5.
Why, is it always 1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times IQR. And Q3 plus 1.5 IQR.
Dang it, guys, we have to find the stupid IQR. Guys, this is so dumb.
It's not that hard, just subtract.
I know, but it makes me mad.
Okay, IQR is Q3 minus Q1, so 78 minus 28,
50.
which is 50. And let's see, so Q1, 28 minus 1.5 times 50. Just a reminder, okay, so I said this the other day, but keep in mind PEMDAS. Okay,
Blessings.
and I'm going to go ahead and set up the other one. 78 plus 1.5 times 50.
So first, the Q1 is minus and Q3 is plus.
Yes.
Hold up, I have to get my calculator out because I'm too lazy to do this.
Not 150.
Well, you not.
Hmm?
Plus 78, 100 and I don't know how to do that. 5, 6, 7. I still don't know. No, it's 125.
Isn't
No,
it?
225.
It's 28 minus 75.
I'm
So the
not
first
talking
one is
about that.
negative 47.
That's what I got.
No, I'm talking
Negative
about the next
47.
one. That one's 200.
And then the next one, let's see. Oh, not that.
Oh, it's not
Oh,
10.
goodness.
That's
That's
wrong to do.
So it's 78 plus 75.
Yeah, the numbers should be the same, like on that side, because it's all from 20.
Don't listen to me.
153.
I thought it was 10, not 15. Or 1.5.
Oh.
So based on that, how many outliers do we have?
What, 3?
3.
Okay, so we definitely have 3 outliers. There's possibly a 4th. There aren't enough little tick marks to tell for sure if that one that's right past the 150 is greater than 153. So we're just going to say definitely 3, possibly a 4th.
I don't know if you just said this, because I was writing things down. But how do we know that it's 3?
From the picture, you went and counted, and any of them above 153 is an outlier. The x-axis values.
Oh, okay.
There's only 3 that we can guarantee are, but the one that's right there at 150, since we don't know what the little tick marks would represent if they were there, we can say that it might be. Now, if on the test, like Berkeley, I think you said there were 4, right? You were trying to tell me there were 4. I think if you had told me that, I would probably still give you credit because it is hard to tell. Okay? I would take 3, I would take 4 if this was the problem that was given to you.
I also really love how we were guessing, and she's like, we can't really just guess. Not anymore, because you taught us how to find it.
Yeah, you can't just look at it and just be like, oh, that's definitely an outlier, because it's not always the case. Like, yes, you could have assumed the one past 250 was an outlier, but those other ones, you got to check them because you just don't know. Because there will be some that may look like an outlier, but when you do the math, it won't come out to be an outlier.
Ew.
So then part C, create a box plot for these data.
How do we do it accurately? Can you really do it accurately?
Is there a
Is
calculator?
there a
So-
calculator way to do it?
Yes, but not given the information you're given. You would have had to have been given a list of data.
So sad.
Oh, that is right.
All right, so go in increments of 50 from 0 to 300. Leave some space above because you're going to need to draw above it.
Above it.
How do you know it was 0? How
I
do you
do
know
it
it's
vertical.
I'm going with the same numbers that are on the histogram because don't reinvent the wheel if it's already been done for you. At least that's my personal opinion. But
I do agree.
Dang it, guys, I didn't leave enough room for a whole 300. Here we go.
Not 3,000.
okay, and I'm just keeping the same titles that were on the histogram.
So, the lining thingamabobs are the max and minimum, right?
Yes.
Yes. I had to process what you were saying.
You have to put a line at 275 and 0. Then,
Okay, and the other thing to notice is the max value is 275, right?
yeah,
But what is our upper fence limit?
153. So it has to be 153.
So, ballpark 153-ish, okay? We would need to put the other one.
so our fences supposed to be our fences.
Yes.
So 0 is not right. We should have gone with negative 50.
No.
No.
What she's saying? Okay.
If the minimum value or the maximum value is outside of your fences, then we use the fences on either end. However, if you are given a list of data, so instead of it giving you this 5-number summary here, if it had given you 20 numbers and then you found it, you have to use the number that is closest to the fence without leaving the fence.
I see.
Okay, and then the rest of them are going to become your outliers outside. So if you have a list of data, it's a little more difficult on your end than if you're given the 5-number summary.
Even if it's more reliable.
So it may not be a perfectly accurate picture because we don't know for sure. I mean, yeah, it looks like there's one in the ballpark 150 range, but we don't know for sure
Yeah.
what the number is that's there. So the next thing I would probably go through and do is your median, which is what?
43.5.
And then I would go in and do my Q1 and my Q3.
28. I'm just gonna have to estimate where that is.
And then now you just got to connect the whiskers.
That's so fun.
Don't you have to do in the starry thingy?
Yeah, for that one you do know.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do know there's one at 275.
So yeah, we know there's one at 275. Okay, and at this point, I look at my histogram. Okay, I'd probably, just because we don't know with 100% certainty where that one value falls, that one that looks like on the histogram it's around 150, I would do a little star right by the edge of the fence. Okay, because that's the possible outlier. And I may even make a note that it's only a possible one. Okay, for me, if you don't put that one there, then it's fine. If you put it there, that's fine. I'm just saying if you get to the AP test, it asks you to draw one. There's one that's that close you can't tell. Mark it so that they know that you're aware that, hey, I can't tell for sure what data point that is, so I'm going to mark it as if it is an outlier because it's above what I think is the value.
How do we know how many stars to after season? Is that it? Or do we have to
No,
go
so you should have the same number of stars as you have outliers. Since you're given a picture.
So one a bit before 200, or yeah, and then one directly after 200, and then the 275 one was right now.
and
Yeah.
that's it?
Yep.
That's easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And then there's another part with question.
So it's not nearly as bad as it seems. Okay, especially if they give you the picture. Your calculator does draw box plots for you, but again, it has to give you a list of data for it to work. And I don't remember, I think it puts outliers on there, but I can't remember. I have to see on that for sure. Write a few sentences describing the distribution. So literally all I'm looking for here is thinking about socks. Okay, when I do this, I want to kind of think of anything out of the ordinary. I don't think when we talked about it, I really showed you how to tell from a box plot if it's skewed or not and stuff like that. But I'm going to take this one and show it to you. So you see how like your middle of your data is here, okay? And then how you have a whole lot of data over here and not very much over here. Wherever you have the longer whisker, okay, outside of your median, that tells you which direction it's skewed.
So it's easier to tell on a box.
I mean, sort of. I mean, in this case, you're looking at your whisker. On a histogram, you're looking at your tail. So, and they're in the same direction. Like they, you know, if you were to sit this with your that histogram underneath of it, it should look similar. Okay, other than the box, you know, obviously histogram has a bunch of boxes and stuff, but the shape of it should look very similar. So, I've got a much longer piece there, okay, on the right. So what would that tell you about this?
So it's unimodal and skewed right.
Okay, since you're dealing with box plots, you don't really have to talk about the actual shape of it, but I would talk about the fact that it's skewed right. Okay, when we've done socks, we've typically left out the O up until this point, but now is where you would want to incorporate the fact that there are 3 or 4 outliers as well. And honestly, that's really all you need to talk about.
Because we haven't really gone over
That's a sufficient amount of information to describe this. Like it says a few sentences. I don't care about that. Like it. The things that are out of the ordinary is what you need to talk about.
And then I'm looking at these bookums, and there's like circles.
The ones with a T beside them. Is that what you're talking about?
There's number 16. There's like a circle, and then the star thingies.
Yeah, we'll talk. We're gonna do that one in a minute. I'm gonna do 14 first, and then I'll do 16. All right, 14. A national vital statistic report indicated that nearly 300,000 Black Americans died in 2003, compared with just over 2 million white Americans. Here are histograms displaying the distributions of their ages at death. Okay, just looking at those, what do you notice? Like shape-wise?
They're unimodal and skewed to the left.
Okay, they're both skewed left. They both look pretty similar to each other, right?
Yeah.
So, describe the overall shape, okay? I think we've already taken care of that. Skewed left and unimodal. Next part, how do the distributions differ?
Well, one of them is continuing to go up, and one of them goes down, I guess. Like at the end. I don't know if that means anything.
Sort of. Look at the different age brackets. Which one has which period of time of life, okay, they're listed out in years, are there more Black Americans that have died, and which one has more white Americans that have died? Like, what age brackets are we looking at there?
85 and older for white, and then 75 to 84 for black.
Wouldn't it be?
Are the largest.
Wouldn't
It
it
looks
be
like.
for black to
Compare them to each other.
0 to 4 for African Americans is like bigger than the white people?
Okay,
I don't know.
sort of.
And then
Look in the age bracket from 25 to 74.
the black percent goes up higher.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so a lot of those different things would work. Okay, the big one that I would be looking at here, if it was me, From 25 to 74, more Black Americans died versus 75 plus more white Americans died. Because what is one other thing in terms of the scaling on that did you notice?
That the black one goes to 25 and then the white goes to 35.
Yeah, so the scaling was different. So that's also part of what we have to pay attention to when doing this.
So a lot more than white people died when they got older.
Yes.
They should just make it the same.
All right. Follow-up question. Look carefully at the bar definitions, okay? So the scaling on them. Where do these plots violate the rules for statistical graphs?
So
They
have to
should have
make
been
it
the same, right? If they're comparing, they should be the same.
Well, look at each one individually. Specifically, look at the x-axis on them.
They're not labeled. No, they aren't. They're,
How many years are there from 0 to 4?
4. Oh,
How many from 5 to 14?
There's a lot more than 4.
A lot more, okay? So, they're not consistent, okay? The span of the years is not consistent. Okay, if we want to truly look at data, they all have to be equal, okay? They would have all, probably the best thing would have been to have done them in increments of 5, okay? So, for example, 0 to 4 years, 5 to 14 years, and 85 plus years.
wait, what are they?
Those are the examples of what.
Those are examples of what, like, the difference is in the number of years. Because, I mean, the 85 plus could be, like, 20-some years.
Yeah.
You're right. So whoever made those are very, very idiotic.
Well, they probably did it wrong on those points.
I mean, yeah, but if someone like in reality did that, they were idiotic.
I think one of you may have mentioned it, but what do you also notice about the left side of the graph?
It's not labeled.
There's no label.
I said that, but I didn't know if it was right.
I thought that I heard that, but then I also looked at my notes here. You won't be able to probably read it. Well, you might be able to read it. I thought I wrote no label on 6 feet, and I thought I was going crazy. And then I realized it's supposed to say left.
Oh, it does say left.
And then I looked at the graph and was like, there's no label. And then I was like, oh. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure Berkeley said that, but like,
Because I was like, what? I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
That would be the y-axis, right?
yeah. All right, number 16. All right, so here are box plots for weekly gas prices at service stations in the Midwestern United States. And this is in prices with dollars per gallon. So compare the distributions of prices over the 3 years.
Can you just explain what the dots are first?
So, a lot of times if you're not given all your information, like we're not given any information about like the actual data, we're just shown a graph. Something that's a potential outlier, but it may not be guaranteed.
So we should do a circle on the last one we did? The one where it goes to
No,
the
I don't do them. I just always do stars. But if you see it in the book, a lot of times it's talking about something that's like maybe an outlier or possibly like,
Possible outliers.
yeah, more so. Is typically what they do them for, if I remember correctly. There is a problem that I know that it. Hold on, let me look and make sure before I tell you wrong, because I always just use the stars, but there was somewhere that there was an explanation about it. Oh, but maybe I didn't. Okay, so they say that they use, it's on page 81, but it says that they add their outliers, and they said that they use a different symbol for outliers that are really far away. So the circles probably are truly outliers, but they're so close that they just mark them differently. I mark them all the same when I'm drawing it, though.
Okay, because like,
But for their notation, they are outliers. They're just the ones that are stars are farther away.
like for number, we don't have to do number 19, but I was looking at number 19, and there's like so many dots on the far part. Like I was like confused on why there were so many dots.
Yeah, see, and then they have dots that are really far away, so it doesn't really make sense. But they say that they use a different symbol for them being farther away. So I was trying to remember because, like I said, I normally don't use that notation. So, all right. So compare the distribution of prices over the 3 years. So we've got 2002, 2003, and 2004.
Well, 2002 is cheaper.
Okay. So the average. What happens to the average price every year then?
It gets bigger.
Okay. So each year, average price increases. How about outliers? What do we notice about outliers each year?
There's less. Like there's a lot of them in 2002, but then there's none in 2003, and then there's one again in 2004.
Okay, so I would say something like 4 low outliers in 2002 and 1 high outlier in 2004. Think about, we want to look at the shape of them, okay? Are they skewed or not, and in which direction, okay?
So it looks like
The first one is skewed left,
And
and
then
the last two are skewed right.
Yep. So 2002 is skewed left. 2003 and 2004 are skewed right. Okay, so the top is a right skew. The bottom would be a left skew. Okay, so if you're looking at it, because normally, okay, we look at it obviously side to side. In this case, if they're stacked tall like that, okay, you can rotate your paper so that you see the bottom on the left and the top on the right, and then that will help you if you need to visualize it a little bit differently like that.
I don't know how I do it, which way to turn it. I just I don't know.
why would you try
Oh!
it the other way?
Well, because the numbers are going up that way, so
You
like.
know it's an accident. You can just- yeah.
All right, let's see. Part B of that problem. In which year were the prices the least stable?
I would say 2002, but
So more outliers.
I don't know because 2004 the IQR is just more space.
Yeah, so 2004 is a lot more spread. Okay, like yes, there are more outliers in 2002, but if you look overall in 2004, the amount of distance between your max and your min is significantly larger. Okay, so I would say 2004, the range was much wider. And then I would say something about, in regards to price, you should say. And then something about it has the biggest IQR. right, the next one, eye and hair color. A survey of 1,021 school-aged children was conducted by randomly selecting children from several large urban elementary schools. 2 of the questions concerned eye and hair color. In the survey, the following codes were used. Okay, so they have hair color. What? Hair color being blonde, brown, black, red, or other. Eye color, blue, green, brown, gray, or other. The statistics students analyzed the data. Analyzed the data. Were asked to study. They were asked to study the relationship between eye and hair color. They produced the following plot. Is their graph appropriate? If so, summarize the findings, and if not, explain why.
No. It only does the hair color. You don't see anything for eye color.
Eye color's on the left.
No, but like, there's only one plot though.
Okay, well, hair color's on the bottom and eye color's on the left.
What the
It's the
heck?
2 variables.
I don't get it.
What kind of variables are eye color and hair color?
They're quantitative, qualitative,
Categories.
Categorical variables.
qualitative.
Can I run statistics on categorical variables?
No.
No.
You drew your 2's differently.
I always do that.
What is going on?
It irritates me, but I can't help it. It just happens.
At least I was right with the no.
Okay, they're both categorical variables. Okay, I don't want to promise you, but I can pretty much guarantee you that on the next test, there will be one that has both categorical variables. And somebody will solve it, and it'll be hilarious, and that's okay. But don't do it.
You know, it's okay. There's only like 6 of us in here. 7 of us.
7.
There's no way. Oh, close. You'd be surprised.
Alright, I'm gonna write both categorical and I'm still gonna solve it.
We're gonna like, no, it can't happen, and we're still gonna try to figure it out.
All right, we're gonna try to look at 24 here before the bell rings. I think we'll have time to get through it. It's the last one.
Is that hard?
Maddie, will it satisfy you if I fix my 2's?
It would.
Is that better?
Thank
It
you.
was very weird.
It really just
It always happens, and I don't know why. It like depends on what's following it for how I write it.
It's very scary. I didn't like it.
You always write your shit like that?
It genuinely.
It
upset
depends.
my
It
heart.
really depends. Sometimes I'm like, oh, 2002, and then the next one I might be like 2004. I wasn't even looking.
Well, one
That's
thing is,
okay.
I-
That's okay.
I remember when I was younger,
But
I
2
used to do
truths
people's
beside each
signs.
other that are different is not okay.
I'm gonna struggle when it's 2022, guys. I'm
Oh,
just letting you
no.
know.
I just wanted to say though, but like when you do twos, I remember being a little kid because like the way they taught you to do it was the straight line at the bottom, and like all these adults who do the loop to loop, I'm never gonna be one of those people, and now I can't do that too. I can only do the loop one.
It's the math person in me. I just do it. I've changed the way I write numbers like a million times. I swear, it's crazy.
Hey, same. I tried writing like 7s with a line through them, so I
That's
could
what I do.
switch them.
All of mine
I
have
could
lines
never
through
train
it.
myself to do that because it just takes too long.
All of my
Right.
sevens
I don't
have lines
like
through
it.
it.
Makes you look cool though.
And I always write Z's with a line through them now
Me
because
too.
of math problems.
I go,
Yeah, I do that because of math problems.
People are like, "Why do you write your Z's like that?" I'm like, "Cause I'm a math teacher." They're like, "Oh,
Well, that's why
I don't."
changed-
Yeah, they're like, "You don't need to say anything else."
I do that when I try people's names or something.
Well, that's why I changed my 2s from straight 2s to curly ones. That way I can distinguish between
I just
Yeah.
figured it out.
All right, last example, and then we're done. Here are summary statistics for the size in acres of Finger Lakes vineyards. Okay, you've got all that information again. How would you describe this? I can't talk. Would you describe this distribution as symmetric or skewed, and explain?
No. Skewed is
Skewed.
one of the
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why?
Do I have to-
Because you have the highest values and then it decreases.
Because
Look at your mean compared to
The
your
mean
median,
is bigger than the median.
which means what?
It's skewed.
What kind?
Right.
Mean is greater than median, so it is skewed right. Okay, so the stuff we wrote at the end of the chapter 4 worksheet, make sure you don't forget that because that will help you with this stuff. Okay, that's not to say once you go and create the box plot, you couldn't have gone back and redone part A. But that's a really quick, easy way to know just by looking at it what's happening.
So is vice versa, it's skewed left?
Yes, and if they're equal,
Yeah, okay.
it's symmetric.
Now we have to do the fancy thing.
All right, what are are there any outliers? So Q1 plus 1.5 IQR. Does it annoy anybody when I sometimes put feet on my ones and sometimes I don't?
Yeah. It annoys me.
What is that?
I thought you were trying to fix it. But you didn't.
No, I changed the sign that I wrote wrong that nobody caught.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to. I'm not smart.
Cookie! I
know.
wanted a cookie.
It would get you a cookie point.
What, really? I
Yeah.
would have said something. I didn't know. I just didn't want to be like, oh, it's wrong, and then you'd be like, no, it's not right.
If I make a mistake, you earn a cookie point.
I don't know what
Which
the
means
point is.
10 get you cookies.
I see.
10 mistakes
Oh,
by
I
me
guess
get
only
you a cookie.
Recon knew that. Hey, look at that.
Just want to point
You
out
got two.
that my class is the one who came up with that, specifically me.
Well, must be nice.
I don't want to do this. Someone else want to math.
Thanks for getting us all cookies, Mustard.
All right, so Q1,
IQR is 36.5.
18.5 minus 1.5 times 36.5. Okay, this is why you have a calculator, so you don't have to do this by hand. 55 plus 1.5 times 36.5.
Oh. 18.5 minus 1.5 times 36.5.
What's the answer?
I don't know yet. Give me a minute.
We already had that.
Oh shoot, I was looking at the wrong problem. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
The first one is 73.25.
It's how much?
73.25.
Negative 36.75.
Negative? Something else. So guys, it's actually a negative sign and not a positive sign there. So don't be me. You should.
The next one's like 109.75. That's what I got. Don't hold me to it.
That's true.
Okay, so there
Okay.
is an outlier.
Huh?
There's an outlier because the max is 250, so at least one outlier.
Yep, exactly. At least one outlier.
Oh my gosh, I
Because
just outlier.
250 is the max, which is outside of the fences.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
All right, I don't think we're going to get through this, so remind me when I get back that I need to draw this. Okay, essentially, you would need to, I'll try to quickly do it, okay? If this is out to, everything else seems to stop at, like, we'll just go out to 60, and then I'm going to draw a little squiggly line and come all the way out to 250. Okay, and then I'm just going to go 0, 10, 20. This is not going to be accurate, but that's okay. 40, 50. Okay. In reality, what should happen here is that, okay, your median, 33. Q3 is 55. Q1 is 18.5. Just won't talk about the fact that this isn't straight. Okay. You should stop your fence at this 109 value. Okay. Or you stop your whisker there. Okay, your min value is somewhere in there 6-ish. Okay, and then you should draw your little star at 250. Okay, we don't know what's happening between that, so we can't say if there are more outliers than what we are given.
Wait, your fence is negative 36.25.
but I don't need the fence on that end because my minimum is not out to the fence.
Correct.
Write a few sentences about the sizes of the vineyards. What does that mean? Like the socks?
So for that, I would say something like most are between 33 and. Why did I write that way? They're anywhere from 6 to 250 acres. Most are in the 33 range. Okay, that's the median. The middle 50% is between 18 and a half and 55 acres. I would say something like that in regards to that part. Really quick, write down these problems. These are going to be the ones that you need to do once the worksheets are done.
Like the homework?
Yes. 7, 20. Well, here, hold on. I'm going to write them in the correct order. I have them all out of order. 7, 19, 23, 25, 26, and 32. Okay. If I forget to create a tab, because it's inevitable, it's going to happen to some class, just keep it until I get back.
So is that gonna be our homework tomorrow?
No, you're going to do 2 pages of worksheets, which I'll leave for the sub to give you, and then you will have start chapter 6 on Monday. Okay? And no homework next Friday for the long weekend. Okay?
Thank you.